Hello and welcome back to the Playtech podcast. It's your hosts, me, Greg, and
your other host, me, Dan.
yeah, your old friends. Welcome back to the podcast. As you may have noticed lately, we've been trying to get this thing up and running again. So hopefully you find it interesting. Hopefully you keep coming back and tuning in because we're going to be giving just sort of like weekly breakdowns of tech and gaming and stuff. We're going to do some kind of more casual, fun gaming stuff, but also a little bit more of the sort of tech jargon kind of stuff. We're going to try and break it down, make it a bit more accessible and a bit more interesting. So, yeah, what have we got today, Dan?
We're going to start with the Battlefield news.
Battlefield news?
Yeah, jump on. Yep. So for Battlefield 2042, it was announced that they'd be including bots in the game. Pretty sure everyone knows that nowadays. But some info has been leaked out that the bots will be, about the same skill as the average player. So you'd say about a 1 KD kind of thing. So I don't know how good or bad that is.
Average player can mean like a lot of things, you know? Because as we know, there's a big skill difference between the entry level and the high end. But it'll be interesting. I think bots, like in the early days of competitive FPS shooters and stuff like that, bots are always where you just dip your toes in a little bit and start kind of, just playing around before you get serious,
Yeah, it's the bots is just so you can get used to the game, learn the game.
Yeah, and it like fleshes out a match because even if you've got like, you got like a bunch of mates that are ready to play and stuff like that, because of being in New Zealand, the time zones, everything like that, sometimes it just means you and your mates are ready to go, but the server's half empty. So.
I already know what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
I'm going to, 4 a.m. in the morning, no one else is playing, I'm going to be farming my KD.
Yeah.
Farming my KD on 123 bots.
I wonder whether that will, how your stats will be affected by bot kills versus human kills, but I think that's interesting.
Well, if they say that the bots are going to be as good as the average player, I think it should.
That's right. If they're as good as the average player, they should give you the same reward.
Yeah, exactly. So, and then also, to do with Battlefield 4, because of all the hype from Battlefield 2042, there's been a resurgence in the amount of players playing, and it's actually peaked over what it ever was. It's 8x what it was prior.
But it's peaked of all time numbers as well.
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
No, because
8 times what it was, last week or whatever.
They built a lot of new fans. And brought back a lot of old fans with the 5 and 1 series.
Cool.
And a lot of the fans didn't even, like me for one, I didn't play Battlefield 4 when it first leaked.
Yeah.
Well, when it first, not leaked, when it first released. Yeah, when it first came out. I was still on the Battlefield 3 hype train. That's all I wanted to play.
Yeah.
So I didn't really touch much Battlefield 4 until recently, just like most people. So, yeah. And with Battlefield 4, China Rising is also free from the store if you wanted to jump on and get some DLC that doesn't cost you anything.
Yeah, jump in, have a play. I mean, that's the good thing about, Battlefield and stuff like that is that the feel is going to be similar, and it's really just the bells and whistles that change around that. So jump into the DLC now for Battlefield 4, have a play around, get used to it, get your squad together, and then when 2042 drops, we'll see you there.
Yeah, exactly.
Getting ganked by bots.
Oh, maybe you will.
Yeah, I definitely will. So next up, we've got some interesting news over Windows 11 over the last week or so. Is everyone's freaking out. They're going, "What's this TPM thing? And how come I need it for Windows 11?" There's been a little bit of I wouldn't say scaremongering, but some clickbaity headlines and stuff. Anyway, basically TPM is the Trusted Platform Module. It's essentially a chip that can be on a processor or on a motherboard that kind of encrypts sensitive data to kind of keep you safe from malware and things like that.
Right.
So Microsoft have been recommending it since the launch of Windows 10, and it's been a technology that's been sort of around in some form since 2009. So it's nothing new, it's just that it's required now. So basically, whenever you enter in a password or do anything like that, it will actually do a sort of hardware-based encryption on that data, keep it nice and safe and things like that, so that if you're a dodgy copy of Adobe or Ableton or Pro Tools, whatever, or something like that, it's got malware on it or something like that, then you're going to still hopefully be safer than you would without. It's very common in the enterprise world, but now we're seeing it cross over into mainstream.
Which I guess is a good thing.
Yeah. I mean,
kind of. It's,
Yeah, ultimately it's good. Even though there are going to be some legacy products that might unfortunately get shut out, but not many. If you've bought your PC in the last, say, 5 years roughly, you're going to be fine. We'll have comprehensive compatibility stuff coming out soon, but it's nothing really to worry about.
Oh,
at this
and
stage.
Windows 10 notebooks. All the notebooks and stuff that are Windows 10 should be okay.
Any OEM shipped device with Windows 10 on it, so if you bought a notebook with Windows 10 on it or anything like that, you'll be fine.
Yep.
And so why would you even bother loading up Windows 11? Well, one of the coolest features that relates to our demographic so far is definitely the direct storage. So basically, this is something that they've actually pinched from the Xbox line of products, which is pretty interesting.
Why you get such quick times on the Xbox?
Yeah, essentially why load times are so short on the Xbox is because, when you're sitting on a loading screen, of course you're not using your GPU. It's literally just your CPU and storage and RAM and things like that, just loading things up. So what they've essentially done is they've created direct storage, which allows you to use your GPU to actually decode some of that information from your hard drive and speed it up considerably, I should say.
Find your words.
Yeah. So that just means your load time is going to be a lot shorter in Windows 11. So that's pretty interesting. That's the only groundbreaking thing I've seen so far for gaming. But there are some other cool things like being able to run native Android apps through the Windows environment.
With the direct storage, the thing is, if you're on the requirements for the direct storage are a graphics card that has DirectX 12. Yep. And a 1 terabyte NVMe SSD. But if you've got a 1 terabyte NVMe SSD, your load times are going to be pretty damn quick already. Yeah. So I mean, there's the improvement here.
We'll
see.
Like that, you are right there. It may be diminishing returns for a lot of us who are already in the enthusiast market anyway. But natively running Android apps is pretty interesting as well.
That's pretty big. Big.
It's gonna mean some things are gonna get chaotic.
COD Mobile.
Well, I mean, everything from say things like COD Mobile and mobile games and things like that, all the way through to social networks and stuff like that with botting and things. So for sure. It's going to be an interesting time. Like I said earlier, though, it's a shame some legacy devices might get shut out, but realistically speaking, Windows 11 will be a nice thing to have, but I don't see it as being essential for anyone really in the near future anyway. So you've got time to upgrade if you need to. Cool. Anyway, I've been on about that enough. So next up, we've got there's been a lot of patches dropping over the last week or so. Dan, why don't you run us through the COD update to start with?
Okay. Well, when the Season 4 dropped, they released some new guns, and one of the new guns was the MG82. Everyone knows this gun is absolutely ridiculous until they patched it, which is great. So the most recent patch, I think, removed the satellite drops where they would give you a harp or a loadout or specialist for everybody or something. So that's one of the big little changes, not big changes. But they've nerfed the MG82, and the new king on the block is the Farah. And the Milano AR is currently my personal favorite. It's like the little Uzi type gun that just absolutely destroys people. So that's a lot of fun. But for COD, it's actually not much. The recent update hasn't really changed much. They nerfed the rose skin. But that's otherwise, right. the game's feeling
that skin though. Yeah. That skin in the shadows was pretty much not invisible, but very well camouflaged.
It went from black to grayish.
That's right.
It's not horrible. Like, I'm not having many visibility issues nowadays. Like when I'm running through Superstore, it's not like run past someone completely because I couldn't see him at all. But
that's the thing. You get these mean new HDR monitors where the blacks are just so black and rich and stuff like that.
Exactly.
And all it means is now you're just going to get capped by noobs who are hiding in the corner.
Pretty much.
But yeah, I mean, so balancing patches on COD, that's always good for the more competitive shooters. Cyberpunk 2077 is back on the PlayStation Store. So any of you who still have hope or interest in Cyberpunk on the PlayStation side of things, as you may know, it got pulled because it was so buggy and all over the place. Sony just pull it. But it's back on, so now if you missed it, you can give it a go, or if you were one of the people who bought it and didn't return it, then maybe load it up, load the patch, and see what you think of it. We'll see. What else we got? We got some. There's some pretty big patches across the board for Apex and Valorant. Not big patches, but just lots of little patches.
No, for Apex, it's not a huge patch. There's just a new event. But for Valorant, it's pretty big because it's across the board. If you think about it as a whole package, it's quite a large change.
Yeah. So they're basically making lots of small tweaks across the board, which should add up to hopefully balance out.
Well, it's a balanced patch, so you'd hope so.
I mean, that would be nice.
So for the Valorant side of things, as we said, there's a new champion. and they've tweaked all the guns and all the abilities and everything to make sure that there's as much balance around the board as possible, hopefully making it a bit more fluid of a game, and make the competitive side a bit more interesting, because at the moment it does feel pretty stale. We'll see how that goes. And then for the Apex, there's the Genesis. What was it? Genesis?
The Genesis event. Yeah, it's a collection event. Basically, one of the new seasonal events. It's got a bunch of skins and a bunch of weapons and things like that. There was a pretty cool weapon skin that was there, the scythe sort of thing that's been in a lot of the marketing and stuff. I don't know. It's if you're into that kind of stuff, it could be kind of cool if you're a bit of a collector. But once again, there has been a big balance patch across the board for the arenas. So Apex Legends Arenas is their new sort of more competitive mode, and they're balancing the economy in that just to try and get it more on par with like CS and stuff like that, where you've got a really finely tuned economy of earning currency, spending it to buy guns in between, things like that. So that'll be interesting to see again. I just had a thought regarding Valorant. If they're balancing the balancing patch is right in the middle of the high school league's Valorant tourney. So I wonder whether that will affect much of the gameplay.
Well, how soon is the patch due to release?
That's a good point. I assumed that it was out. But
sure.
I might be wrong on that one.
I don't think it's out just yet, but hopefully doesn't throw too much of a spanner in the works.
Yep.
I guess we'll have to see.
Oh, well, it's part of the game, man. It's part of the.
Not really much. Oh, sorry, guys.
Well, it's like when Jordan got new dunks and stuff like that. He got new shoes, and everyone started complaining. They started trying to take the shoes off Michael Jordan and stuff. You're in the middle of a season, you switch it up. It keeps things interesting. Anyway, so next up is we've got there's a whole bunch of new games that have just added RTX support for some of the more interesting features, like the DLSS super sampling. So if you're not aware of what DLSS is, it's basically, it allows you to play a game on a 4K monitor, but at a 1080p resolution, and it essentially stretches the image up so that you can save GPU processing power, but still play at a higher resolution. But instead of looking all crappy and blurry like you would normally get when you stretch an image 4 times its size, sort of thing, it actually looks really sharp. It's got a little AI algorithm that kind of like fills in all the details, and it's really, really good. Like it's really well good. Yeah. AMD have their FSR, I think it's called, which is their equivalent, but the NVIDIA one is just really, really good. So basically, a couple new games have got that. We got patches coming for Rust, Doom Eternal, Red Dead Redemption 2, some smaller games, the Lego Builder's Journey, Chernobyl and stuff like that. Just across the board, there's a bunch of new games updated for that. And it's pretty rad. I got a trailer here that just sort of shows you what some of the new RTX features are that are coming to these games. This one in particular is a game called Icarus, which is a New Zealand-made game by Rocketworks, and I think we'll finish up on that, and I'll jump to that trailer, and that'll be it for today. We'll see all you guys tomorrow. We'll be on live stream building PCs on Twitch.
Something. We'll see.
Yeah, we're trying to anyway. But anyway, the important thing is jump on our Twitch channel. Follow us and everything there, because we're going to be doing some Twitch exclusive giveaways. We really want to build the Twitch up. So we've got headsets, keyboards, mice, Steam cards, all kinds of stuff. But there's going to be a lot happening exclusive to Twitch. So jump on if you want to see us build some PCs, fix some stuff, stream, benchmark, everything like that. All the sort of techie stuff, but we're going to have a little bit of fun with it. But for now, let's just watch that trailer, and we'll see you all
next time.
Whenever next time is.
Bye.